I'm here to talk about two books that I'm going to read this weekend ahead of spooky season.
Come with me to Jean Talon. Very exciting.
I'm going to film myself chopping apples and making scones. I'm going to carve up this pumpkin baby today, and oh, that's my dishwasher. Every time I go to film, there's something. At least it's not street noise today. Hey everyone, it's me, Jess, and I'm gonna start off this spooky reading vlog by introducing the two books that I want to read just ahead of Halloween. I just got back from work. It's Friday. The weather's supposed to be really nice this weekend, which is great, and I'm really excited. The sun is going down earlier and earlier, so that means cozy evenings in the house reading and keeping warm. So the first one is Pine. Pine is the story of Lauren and her father, Neil. They live alone in the Highlands in a small village surrounded by forests. When a woman stumbles on the road one Halloween night, so this is set on Halloween night, Neil drives her back to their house. In the morning, she's gone. I'm pretty excited to read this. I'm only like at page 5. I just started it. And already in the very first couple of pages, she sees someone, and then like she looks and there's someone there, and then she looks again and the person is gone. So in the very first chapter, there's something weird that happens already. It says Lauren sees a skinny figure standing in the scrub of the verge, enveloped in a large white dressing gown. Jesus, her father says as they bump past. Who's that? Lauren cranes back at the dark road. The trees are thinning out. Who's what? Replies her father and turns up the music. Lauren puts her hand in the dress pocket and runs a finger across the ridged antler. Then along the metal strip that is the edge of the blade. She has a knife in her pocket. Anyway, she sees someone that's not there in the first like 2 pages. And I'm imagining that this is going to be a ghost. So I'm really excited to read this. And then I'm also going to read The Haunting of Hill House. I imagine lots of people have read this, but I never have, and I keep hearing amazing things about Shirley Jackson. So I'm gonna read what I think is supposed to be the best haunted house ghost story perhaps ever written. So these are the two books that I'm reading. Look at this cover. That cover is quite haunting in and of itself. So yeah, these are the two books that I'm gonna read for this reading vlog, and I'm gonna go for a walk, several walks probably with the dogs, see some of the fall colors, because I think we still have a few trees that are brilliant colors. They're probably going to finish this week. Take you to Jean Talon market, and I don't know, I might make a soup or a chili, or I don't know, make something cozy and fall-esque. Let me know what spooky stuff you're reading during spooky season. Everybody, I want to know. Thank you. Can I probably dig into this tonight? And I don't know. I'm excited to start this as well, but we'll see. I'll check in with you in the morning. Welcome to the vlog. so you can hear Nola. We just got back from the park and he's still totally amped up from being outside and playing in the mud. He's just racing around the house. Yes, so just gonna give you a little update on where I am with Pine. This book is giving me creepy vibes. So far I'm really enjoying it. It's going quickly. I'm at page 73. And so far we have a woman who keeps appearing to this young girl, Lauren. I didn't catch her age. And it's... Actually, back it up. The woman showed up on their way home from trick-or-treating on Halloween night, and they took her into their house, or at least that's what Lauren remembers. And in the morning, the woman's gone. But since then, she's seen this woman kind of like an apparition because it comes and goes, and other people she's with see the woman. This boy, that Billy that she's with, sees the woman, but then he claims he doesn't. So that's weird. We also have, when they're out there working on building I guess it's like a tree house, or I don't know, some kind of a structure that she and Billy her friend Billy are working on. And at one point there is a circle made out of stones around this kind of tree house that they're building. So it's this weird 12 rock circle formation around them, or around the house, because she was inside it, and she comes out and she sees this formation. And then her dad wakes up the next morning, he's not feeling well, and then when he wakes up there's the same rock formation around his bed. So that's weird. And then they go back to give some backstory to the family, to Lauren and her dad Neil, about just her mom. Her mom's name is Christine, and she disappeared. So it's already kind of hinting at maybe this figure is the ghost of Christine, because at one point one of the neighbors calls Neil after he's woken up after not feeling well, and she says, "Oh, I've seen this. Have you seen her? She's in the apple orchard. She's behind my house." And then in the middle of the phone call, she says, "Why did you call me?" So people seem to be under this kind of spell when they see this apparition. So yeah. And the mom was involved in, it's funny because it's like, I don't know when it's supposed to be set, the book. She was into Reiki and EFT, which is kind of like the new age version of witchcraft or new agey type of stuff. So that's a little bit of a tip there. Also, she was also interested, like Lauren's interested in tarot cards. She has a set of tarot cards that she pulls out. Yeah, so it's giving a lot of witchy vibes and ghost vibes. I don't know what it's going to end up being. And then the other backstory that we're hearing about is the property that Neil and his daughter live on, which he got, I guess, from an uncle. And before his uncle lived there, there was a trapper who lived there. And the back shed, which was the trapper's shed originally, is where Neil, her father, has all of his tools. And she's taken from his tool shed. She got the key to his tool shed, and she's taken a little knife made with an encasing of deer, like encased in deer antler, or that it flips open from the deer antler. There's these like deadly tools in this back shed, and the back shed, there's rumors about the trapper and how he died, that he committed suicide and that he hung himself in this back shed, and that the body hung there with all the trapped carcasses for several days. So that's also super creepy. Like there's stuff like that that continues to come up. That's a bit creepy. Oh, he got his stick when we were out, so. And what else? Oh, her friend Billy is leaving. That's the other thing, is that she seems to spend a lot of time over at her friend Billy's house for, I don't know if she's neglected by her father or if they just worry about her. And she goes over there often to eat and to, like they say things like, "Has your dad fed you today?" So I don't know what the implication is there. They're about to leave to go to Disney Paris. This is such a strange book. So they're about to go to Disney Paris, and so we know that they're leaving, so she's probably going to end up on her own with her dad and maybe this ghost. So that's kind of where I'm at. I just wanted to read it though. There's this really funny, I just thought it was funny. It's super brief. There's this part where she goes over to Billy's house to watch the TV. I don't know if it's that she doesn't have TV at her house, which is also odd if that's the case. But she goes over to watch American TV, and she says, yeah, because this opening paragraph says, Lauren loves the television at Billy's. But I thought this was a funny take on American culture, which has nothing to do with the ghostliness of the book or anything, but I just thought it was funny. This passage reads, Lauren loves the television at Billy's. She sits alone watching it, huge and colorful in the living room, and it takes her into a world of Nickelodeon, animation, and American reality shows. She loves the strangeness of Americans, people who live in a universe of lie detectors and drug addiction and paternity tests. She likes watching shows about women with puffed, frozen faces who talk to similar women in restaurants about other women. There are large mansions and tiny dogs. So that made me chuckle. I thought that was funny. Yeah, so I guess she's pretty isolated from the rest of the world as well. Like, I guess they don't have a television. She wanted her dad to buy her something, I've forgotten what it was, and he ended up giving her a cell phone. So we know she has a cell phone. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of where we are. Anyway, I'll update you soon. I'm trying to decide what to do with the rest of my day. It's turned sunny outside, and oh, that's the other thing. In the book, baked some apple scones, which I thought, oh, that'd be amazing. Let's bake something that's in the book. I like to bake, so it's like a read and bake almost. So let me just look up. I'm pretty sure Smitten Kitchen has a recipe for apple cheddar scone. Thinking of maybe going up to Jean Talon Market and getting some ingredients, and then maybe making some apple scones. Or getting some pumpkins. I don't know. We don't really celebrate Halloween all that much in this house. I'm not sure if I'm going to get pumpkins and do all of that, but we shall see. Smitten Kitchen's apple scones. Let's do it. No, are you playing with your... There it is! Yes! Hello, apple and cheddar scones. Yum, yum. That combination, I know everyone loves the pumpkin spice combination, which I also like, but apple and cheddar, yum. Also very fall vibes, can I just say. Let me close this out. Can't close it. Oh. Look how yummy. That looks so good. Okay, so yeah, I'll keep you posted. Hi. The dogs are being a little rowdy, so let's see how it goes. They're kind of fighting over food. It's quite irritating. And as you can see, it's pretty, I guess the light's sort of blue out of my window here. There's a blue evening light. The sun is gonna set shortly, or is in the process of setting. It's 5:40. 5:40, yep. I can see it on my phone. 5:41. And the sun is setting, and I have been reading. I'm going to give you an update. I just want to report that I did not go to the market in the end today because I got sucked into this book, which I will talk about in just a minute. But first, ingredients. So for the scones, the apple cheddar scones, yes, hello Nola. For the apple cheddar scones, we needed 2 tart apples. So I got 2 tart apples just around the corner at my local, which is a great, not a branded store. It's like my local grocery store on the plateau here in Montreal, and it's awesome. It has everything and more. Not expensive. So that's another reason why I love to shop there. I got my, it said you needed sharp cheddar, but I got this Agro Pour 5-year-old aged cheddar. So I think that's going to do the trick. And then we needed, I didn't have any extra large eggs, so I got extra large eggs. And the recipe calls for heavy cream. So I also got some heavy cream. I think that's it for that recipe. And I also decided that, and I think I'm going to try to make the scones tomorrow because I was looking at the recipe and they're quite involved. Maybe a little bit too involved for this evening. But I decided I'm going to make some chili, some Instant Pot chili this evening. And the recipe, which I will link down below, is the Pioneer Woman. I don't know if people use the Pioneer. I didn't know this was going to be a cooking vlog as well as a reading vlog. I don't know if people know about the Pioneer Woman. I've been following her recipes for a long time. So I'll just show you the recipe for the recipe that I found, which is the Pioneer Woman's recipe. And it's an Instant Pot chili recipe. It calls for chipotles, but I don't have them, so I'm just going to make it without. And yeah, this looks pretty good. Got all the ingredients for that. The only thing I didn't have was some tomato paste, which I picked up. And so I'm going to do that now. Yeah, let me update you on the book. So I'm 150 pages in. Whoa, this is just going so fast. This book is so sucking me right in. So we have Lauren. Now I didn't understand, or I didn't know from the first, I guess, 70 pages, which is where I updated you from last time. I didn't know what her age was. It was a little bit hard to tell, but it turns out that she's pretty young. I guess she says finally that she's 10 and a half. So you don't quite know how old she is until about midway through the book. And I mean, there's an indication because she has, her favorite books are Jacqueline. I'm not from the UK, so I was not familiar with this Jacqueline woman's books. But anyway, she's a children's writer. I think their dog's name is Jameson. That's a good name for a dog, I thought. It's only 10 years old. So her dad has been asked to go, you know what? So he's going to play with a band. He's filling in for another member of a band, which means he's going to be out for the night, which means that Lauren needs a babysitter. So there's a woman named Anne-Marie who comes to take care of her. And I guess her family was friendly with their family, or is friendly with their family. And Anne-Marie's just a bit older than Lauren, but like, she's in college now. And her friend Diane, they decide to take Lauren over to her house. I don't know, this is probably more detail than you need to know, but it gets creepy. They do see the woman again, this odd woman who, it's alluded to that it's Lauren's mom. So, but also the protection circle of rocks comes up again. And so this is when Anne-Marie is talking to Lauren about her mom, like she's recounting some memories she has of, because Lauren is asking her about her mom, wants to know more about her mom. And so Anne-Marie says, we were walking the dog, drawing in the sand and stuff. Then Christine, the name of her mom is Christine, told me to stay still and close my eyes. When I opened them, she had drawn a circle around me and covered it with rocks, pebbles, seaweed, and shells. She said it was a special circle called a cairn. No, wait, a came. It was giving me power to, like, protect me. Protect you from what? I don't know. It was just like magic stuff, superstition, protect me from bad spells, bad witches, bad people. Ooh. So we know that one of those protective circles was left for her dad and for Lauren when she was out in the woods. So Anne-Marie takes Lauren from her house over to Anne-Marie's house and has her sleep over there. They see, Anne-Marie sees the woman again, but then she forgets that she saw anything. And when Lauren asks her about it, because she overhears it from the upstairs room, she says, I don't know what you're talking about. So again, we have another sighting of this ghost. And then there's a scene where they do a tarot reading with a regular deck of cards. So there's tarot reading in here, and she has a book of spells that she doesn't tell anyone about. So definitely Lauren's mom and her grandmother, her mom's mom, were into spells and tarot and all that sort of stuff. Lauren kind of like freaks out about her mom. It has to do with a necklace that Anne-Marie has that's like a Celtic symbol, and she offers to give it to Lauren, and Lauren like freaks out and runs out of the room and runs into the bathroom and locks herself in the bathroom and fills it and starts filling the tub with water, which I thought was a bit dramatic. So I don't know. I don't know where this is going. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what they're being protected from, and I don't know who the bad spirit is yet, but I will update you. So that's where we are halfway through, and I'll try not to ruin it for anyone, because if it's sounding like you would enjoy this book, then I'll keep the second half of the reading experience a little bit more under wraps for what happens in terms of the plot. And I have not started Shirley Jackson's. I have not started The Haunting of Hill House, but I might start it later tonight or tomorrow morning. I'm not sure. And I think I'm still going to go to the market tomorrow, but I just didn't get there today because I got suckered into reading that book. So let's go make some yummy Instant Pot chili for supper. Yay! Hello. Hello. It's me. I am back. No. I am going to the Jean Talon market, which is the infamous Montreal farmers market. Sorry for this weird angle, but I'm like literally propping you up on the dashboard here. It's not quite as sunny today as I was hoping it would be, and I wanted to give you an update on the books. But I think I will wait until I get back to the house to give you an update on the books. What are we going to get in the market? We already got the ingredients for the scones. So we're making the scones. We made the chili, we're making the scones. And then, I was thinking about maybe getting a pumpkin to carve. Doesn't that sound like a good idea to everyone? I think that's a good idea. Yes. Carving pumpkins, I don't know, it's going to be messy. I used to do it with my daughter when she was really little, and I will take you like on a little walk around the market. I'll do my best. It's a bit quieter today, so hopefully I won't feel too self-conscious. Jean Talon market in the fall.
Rusty red on her shoulder, I was cleaning her shoe when it clicked on the trot over in the bright morning dew. We brushed and we braided dandelions and chewed. It was a mutual arrangement we both saw into. Can she walk in the fire? Can she run in the rain? Can she make it up the mountainside? Can she make it down again? I have often wondered if she'll go and jump the fence. Will she keep on moving onward or stay in what could have been? Broke my arm in December. We were running for the thrill.
So I guess I'm not quite sure what's happening. I haven't been to Jean Talon market in a while, and it kind of seems like there aren't as many vendors as there normally are. So I'm outside right now. Ooh, look at all these cranberries. Bonjour! J'ai fait un vidéo. Est-ce que ça vous dérange? J'ai fait un vidéo. Est-ce que ça vous dérange? Okay, look at all these pretty cranberries. Wow! So, yeah, we're outside. Maybe it's because everyone's moving inside. I have no idea. It's like maybe the market is under construction. Alright, bear with me. I guess I came at the wrong time because all the vendors are moving from outside in. There are still some vendors on the outside though, and it looks like there's still pumpkins available. So let's go check that out.
Even still, I remember knowing she could feel it too. Was a mutual arrangement, we both knew what to do. She had a star on her forehead that was easy to find. When I let down her bridle, saw into her hazel eyes. We had a deep understanding.
All right. So, I don't know, man. That was not a bust because I did get my 2 pumpkins. They are very cutely. I don't know if you can see. They're very cutely sitting in the back seat. I am just going to update everyone now before I go inside because the dogs, I think, are going to be very excited to see me when I get back. And they might be making a lot of noise. So let me just update you on where I am with my reading. So I'm up to page 70. Started the Haunting of Hill House. It's good so far. It's about a haunted house called Hill House, and there are 3 characters that are summoned, invited by a Dr. Montague. And Dr. Montague has invited 3 people to come to Hill House to study psychic phenomena or ghosts in Hill House. And Hill House has a reputation that precedes it, both in the town. He is studying to see if there is solid, as he says, solid evidence of psychic phenomena. And he hasn't told the people involved exactly why they're being invited, and we don't know that much about them. The first person that we're introduced to is a woman named Eleanor, who her backstory is she does not get along with her sister. She shares a car with her sister, and she's taken the car, and her sister's not happy about it. Strange. And that's kind of all we know about her. We also have a woman named Theodora, who, and there's something that happened in Eleanor's past that just was alluded to. The doctor looked at her curiously. Many years ago, when you were a child, the stones. That's like literally all we know. Eleanor frowned and shook her head. Her fingers trembled around the stem of her glass, and then she said, "That was the neighbors. My mother said the neighbors did that. People are always jealous." So I don't know if she was stoned because something happened where they thought she was a weird kid. It's funny, there's a parallel actually with that and Pine, because Lauren, the girl in Pine, is also bullied for being weird and having weird parents. Although I do think her dad is a bit neglectful. But anyway, I'll get to that later when I talk about that book. And then we also have Theodora, which is the other woman who was invited. And they both seem to be quite young. And the doctor is saying that Theodora is psychic or has some psychic abilities. They're all gathered in the drawing room to be told why they are there. That's really where I'm at. I'm 70 pages in. The other person who is invited is Luke, who happens to be the nephew of one of the owners of Hill House. The ownership of Hill House, I'm not quite clear on. We've just started to hear some of the stories about tragic deaths at Hill House, and we're just hearing the story about Hugh Grain, who bought the house 80 years ago. Built it? he might have built it, and his wife died before crossing the threshold. Like, she was coming in the carriage and the carriage flipped over and she died. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what the backstory is to these people. I don't know if they're all trustworthy. It's going to be really interesting to see. Oh, and the house is kept by a couple, Mr. and Mrs. Dudley, and she's very odd. She does things like, well, she welcomes everyone, but then she sort of repeats herself in a weird robotic way. I don't know if that's meaningful or not. Yeah, I'll let you know what happens next in this haunted house. At first I thought that Eleanor was going to stay in the house by herself because she arrived and there was nobody else there. And I thought, oh boy, she's going to end up in the house by herself. And also the doctor said that he didn't want to tell them why they were there the night before because he didn't want them to be running away from the house in the middle of the night and get hurt and potentially get fatally hurt. So he describes how somebody ran away in a fright from Hill House, and when their horse turned the corner, he was flipped off the horse and died or was trampled. So this house, it sounds like it's a place where if you try to get away from it, you could end up losing your life. And then in terms of Pine, not all that much is happening. We're still really on the same storyline. There has been no really significant new development, except that there are some mysterious things that happen where people just don't remember what was happening. Not only seeing this woman that everyone keeps seeing and then claiming they didn't see or claiming they forgot they saw, but also weird things where there is something ominous present. There's this point where she hears a dripping sound. It says, there is the dripping sound again. And when she goes to take a look downstairs, the dripping speeds up faster and louder. She looks around the kitchen and at the ceiling to make sure nothing is wrong. There is a rank smell coming from the utility room. That's the room that her dad has his tools in and that the trapper was supposedly hung himself in. There is a rank smell coming from the utility room that gets stronger when she opens its dark door. She switches on the top light and it sparks. She jumps and backs toward the door. In a dark far corner, she can make out what looks like blood spattering down from a crack in the utility room ceiling. I mean, yeah, what's going on? So we've got some really creepy things happening, and we've got some characters who seem to be talking behind Lauren's back. Something's going on with her dad and Anne-Marie, and something's going on where we don't know if it's this ghostly character that is intervening or if there is something more nefarious happening with the other characters that are in the town. Oh, and I was completely wrong about the family that goes away to Euro Disney because they're back. They already came back. Billy's family already came back from Euro Disney, so I don't even know what that has to do with the plot. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to finish Pine tonight. I'm at page 230, and we'll see how far we get with The Haunting of Hill House. And then I'll probably check back in with you after that. I think it might rain and it might get kind of gray, so check in with you soon. Good morning. I'm here to give you an update on my reading. Let's see. Well, my scones burned. It's really upsetting. I wasn't going to admit that on camera. I will still link the recipe down below, but I do think that either my oven is too hot or, yeah, my oven's probably too hot. But it says that you want to cook the scones for half an hour, and after a little more than 20 minutes, they were already burned. And the only reason that I didn't notice was because I took the dogs out for a walk. So yeah, so the scones burned. That's very upsetting. And then the other upsetting thing, nothing in life ever goes as planned, does it? The other upsetting thing is that I left the pumpkins on the stairs leading into my entryway, and the dog ate one of them, like ate the whole side out of one of them, because he's still a puppy. He's going to be a year old in November. But anyway, so those are two kind of not great things that have happened in the course of filming this vlog. And so, but in good news, I did finish Pine. I really enjoyed this. It was a good, I think it's such a fast read. It read very quickly, and I would recommend if you want something to read on Halloween night. It had very spooky vibes. It did, however, end kind of abruptly. I can't remember all the details that I shared with you at this point, because it's the kind of book that has a lot of characters and has the outcast main character, Lauren, the young girl, and the outcast mom who's into sort of spooky stuff, who's missing, and then the father who is suspected. Like during this book, I suspected the father, and I think you were supposed to suspect the father. Well, I guess I'm giving away that it wasn't the father, but I mean, I think it's very obvious that it wasn't the father. It kind of turns into a crime book at the end, which is a little odd. And all the spooky things that I was talking about that I thought were going to get elaborated on or would have more of an explanation don't get explained. So there's some loose ends, like there's some issues with this book, but all the same, like the protective circles stuff. Anyway, I don't want to ruin it. It's got some issues. It has a little bit of a problem ending. It becomes more like a crime story at the end, which I didn't mind too much, but it kind of does end abruptly. And I think that given that it was such a quick read, it probably could have been a bit longer and a little bit better developed. But anyway, I still thought it was pretty good for a spooky read. So that's Pine. The Haunting of Hill House. It's good. It's really good. So The Haunting of Hill House, I'm halfway through the book. And again, it's reading pretty quickly because it's so well written and it's creepy. There is this backstory of the house about the two sisters. I think I might not have gotten that far in my last update, but the house was built 80 years before, and there were two sisters, and one sister really like inherited the house, and the other sister there were some items that she wanted that were in the house. There was some china, there were some antiques. She never got them. Yeah, she never got them. And then the other sister had like a group of people that she hired. It reminds me a little bit of maybe Parasite, the story of Parasite, and then the true story. I'll have to link it below in the description box, but there's a true story in France about a wealthy family that was infiltrated by people who came to work for them. They murdered them. But anyway, there's some question about whether the other sister died of pneumonia, or if there's some rumors about maybe that the people that the women that she hired maybe had something to do with her death. And then the woman that she hired inherits the house, or she leaves it to her, but then she's tormented by the gossip in the town about her having defrauded this woman of the property. Also there's some contesting of these antiques and this china and the valuables in the house, and she doesn't want to give it to the other sister. So there's that backstory. Oh, and then she hangs herself. So this young woman hangs herself in the turret, of course, of Hill House. So that's the story of the backstory, but it also in the story, the house itself is designed in a way to be very confusing, and the people who are staying there are pretty confused about where to get out, how to get out. It says it's designed with concentric circles. In the middle part of the inner circle, there are no windows. It's like very oddly designed. Oh, and also the house, some of the doors like close by themselves. So the house itself is definitely playing a role. And there's also a point where Eleanor gets really dizzy, and it seems like the house is making people unwell in a way, or not just confused in terms of the configuration of the house, but also it's having an energetic impact on the people who are there. Not in terms of seeing ghosts like I thought it was going to be, but in terms of making them physically dizzy or unwell. Yeah, it says here, a masterpiece of architectural misdirection. So why would he build his house this way? Built this house for his family and his daughters. Why would he make it like that? It was very odd. Did he want to trap them there? I think that might be part of the story. And we haven't really found out much more. I'm halfway through, and I'll probably do one last update. And I don't know, I might try to carve the one pumpkin that survived. So I finished The Haunting of Hill House, and I just want to wrap it up and end the vlog. Went through this book so quickly and enjoyed it thoroughly. It's really a good book. It's very atmospheric. It's very creepy. It's not the kind, I was thinking about like, how am I going to wrap this up? Because it's not the kind of story that concludes or wraps things up necessarily. There are a lot of things that happen at Hill House that we are left to wonder about or question. Our main character, Eleanor, everything in this story is told from her perspective, and she's not a very reliable narrator. So we've got an unreliable narrator. And I think for me, when I was reading this book, it really triggered my imagination. Like my imagination was going down different scenarios of what was happening in Hill House, or what was the explanation for some of the haunted paranormal activity that was occurring in Hill House. And at one point I even thought like that Eleanor was a ghost herself, which I don't know is intentional. And then I would check myself and say, oh, no, wait, that doesn't make any sense because of this and that and this and that. So I think that I can't really say very much about it without really going into and analyzing the book, which I'm obviously not going to do now. And I don't want to obviously ruin the ending. Yeah, this was a great book. And what I thought was so good about it was, what I enjoyed the most about it, aside from the fact that it was creepy, was that it wasn't just creepy and then build up and 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 big bang conclusion. Everyone's sitting in the drawing room waiting for something to happen, because the whole premise is that the professor is studying this supernatural phenomena that is supposed to be occurring in Hill House. So you have them all like sticking together at night so that they're safe and waiting for something to happen. So that's a pretty interesting way to create the suspense through this idea of anticipation. And then the other thing is that his wife arrives near the end of the book, and her character is really there to provide almost a bit of perspective for the people who've been in the house for quite some time, but also comic relief. Like she's a very let's get down to business kind of attitude. She pulls out her Ouija board. Well, it's not a Ouija board. It's like a planchette, which is like a Ouija board. And she's like, we're going to communicate with these spirits and we're going to get this, wrapped up. We're going to find the spirits and we're going to wrap this up. And she's pretty funny. She has someone who comes with her, this character Arthur, and he's meant to be security. And that's all very funny. But you keep thinking that the introduction of this man, Arthur, and his gun, and the Ouija board or the planchette, and the introduction of all of these different things are going to lead you somewhere, which I'm not going to say whether it does or doesn't, because I don't want to ruin it for anyone who hasn't read it. But yeah, I would recommend this. Shirley Jackson is clearly a very gifted writer, and I'd be curious to read other books by her or short stories by her. So I've heard The Lottery is a really creepy short story, so I might try to read that. So I don't know. Anyway, The Haunting of Hill House. Yay! Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so, and if you like this video, hit that like button. And actually, if you're enjoying the content on my channel, maybe tell a few people about it, pass the word around. Bye! Baked apple. How's everyone? Oh, I mean, it's sort of silly to say how's everyone. Hang on. Hold the line. No, you're gonna put all my groceries down and some of them are eggs. That's just me babbling about what I'm not sure is happening in that book. Est-ce que les marchés c'est ouvert à l'intérieur? Non? Est-ce qu'ils font rénovation? Ah, ok. Alors c'est le grand déménagement? Ah, ok, je comprends. Ah, ok, c'est pas de bonne chance pour moi. Ok, merci beaucoup. I forgot my... Oh, there he goes. It's like he tags garbage and he runs back across the hall, and he tags the garbage and he runs back across the hall.